Namaskaram. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So far we have seen in Sadhana Panchakam, the first three verses, Adi Shankaracharya has guided through various steps. And from the fourth verse onwards, he has put into a practical lab of our life. The first thing which he has said in the fourth verse is Shuddh Vyadischa Chikitsayatam. He was talking about, Adi Shankaran tells about two diseases. One is the disease which relates to the body, which all of us have. For that, we take the treatment. Various types of treatments are there. It is necessary as long as we live. We will undergo all types of sufferings. Diseases we will undergo, we'll have it. And there is no alternative that we have to take a medicine for that. But the very important thing which he talks about, another disease, is the hunger. Hunger, he looks upon it as a disease in the sense that nobody can deny that hunger is there everywhere all the time. As long as we are alive, that hunger is there. Then he has suggested that you treat this hunger as a disease. For that, he has asked us to take food in a limited way. That is, he has suggested an alternative to go for a bhiksha. Take bhiksha and eat only the limited food. It is not a feast every day. When we take food, it is not a feast every day. It should not be a feast also. Then, having gone for a bhiksha, he has said that don't go in search of tasty food. Swat vandanam natu yachyatham. Don't go for, beg for food, seek food. In the sense that don't demand food. And while seeking food, don't go in search of tasty food. This is very important step for people like you and me to control our way of living and give direction to our life in a spiritual way, spiritual path. This is the main aspect of Shankara's guidance to ordinary people. And he is suggesting that whatever you get, you accept this as the one you are destined to get it. If you don't get anything, don't worry. Whatever you get, you take that food as the one which you are destined to get. Nothing else. Then next he has suggested, after seeking food, he has focused. Food means, it talks about, it indirectly refers to the nose, because it gives you a direction where the food is available. It smells food from various directions. Second, the tongue, the taste. Then third is eye. The eyes, tongue, and nose play a major role in order to eat food. When you follow the footprints of Adi Shankara and go for bhiksha without seeking for tasty food, costly food, then these three things can be controlled easily. This will enable us to seek or go in search of our Atma Jnanam. Then he talks about Sidoshnadi Vishakyatham. He talks about even though he talks about the climatic conditions, hot and cold, summer and winter, all types of diseases, all types of climatic conditions are there, which we have to accept it. You cannot do anything about that. This is not only refers to the natural climatic conditions, all conditions which come in our atmospheric place, space, earth, everywhere, but also it talks about all pairs of experiences we have in our life. Raga Dvesha is very, very important because by controlling the food habits and also controlling our body, accepting the pairs of opposite of climatic conditions, we must be in a position to control all pairs of opposites of experiences in life. The joy and sorrow, happiness and unhappiness, hatred. So these are the things which can be easily controlled as directed by Shankara. Then he says, Natu vrita vakyam samurchyatha. Vakyam is very, very important. Don't unnecessarily gossip around. Don't talk useless things. What is necessary, that we have to speak. Keeping quiet is the best answer. Keeping quiet is the best answer. Keeping quiet in the sense that when your mind is calm, the amount of words which come through your words are less. When your mind is agitated or when your mind is not calm, the number of words which come out of our mouth is very much high. So he has suggested that. Till that we have seen in the last class we had. Now, as a 31st step, he talks about remaining neutral. During our conversation with many people, we listen to so many people's issues, problems, and we also have our own issues to be tackled upon. During those point of time, we had to play a neutral role. We had to keep a middle path. We have to see what is right and what is wrong. Whether it is on the path of dharma, whether even though we don't need to give any judgment, always we have to be neutral. All our dealings should be based upon dharma, which is the essential nature of the human relationship. So when we remain neutral, our interaction with the world outside is limited. And also the controversial nature of relationship is eliminated. By being neutral, you gain the confidence of the people of all types of shades of opinions. So let us be neutral. Then he says that in the 32nd step, he is telling us, warning us, in fact, don't get carried away by the anger and the love showered upon you. At the same time, he also said, whoever hates you, don't take it down seriously. Jana Kripanai, he was talking about that. The people who are showering love and anger, showing anger, you cannot do anything about that. You should not be controlled. Even though you cannot do anything about that, you need not worry. You don't get tossed by those emotions of others, because it is an obstacle for you to move in the right direction, spiritual path. It destroys our goal of seeking Atma Jnana. That's why he says that even if anybody hates you, don't take note of that. This is related to Tediksha quality. Tediksha quality means it is not only related to the climatic conditions, but also it is related to pairs of opposites of all experiences we undergo in our life. Now, in the last verse, he has given us 8 important points, steps, so that our ultimate aim of knowing the Atma, the Brahman, is realized. Ekante sukhamasyatam paradhare chedaha samadhiyatam. Ekante sukhamasyatam. Ekante means alone. It is not lonely. Sukham, comfortably. Asyatam, you sit. Wherever you want to sit, you sit. You sit comfortably. The purpose of asking you to sit alone is you don't get distracted by anything outside. That type of environment is necessary to focus on the Atma, the Brahman, the knowledge which Adi Shankara tells you very, very important for us to cross the birth and deaths, the cycles of births and deaths. Not only sitting alone, comfortably, relax, sit in a relaxed way. It is a type of a meditative environment, meditate so that you don't get disturbed by any events all around. What is the purpose of this? Paratare chetaha samadhiyatam. The focus should be, the Brahman should be in our mind, nothing else. No other thought should be there in our mind other than the Brahman. So go to a place, sit comfortably, in a relaxed way. You don't get distracted by the events happening in your environment or in and around you. And meditate upon the Brahman. Paratare chedaha samadhiyatam. Paratare means in Brahman. Your mind should be focused on Brahman. By sitting alone, there is no point in sitting alone, sitting comfortably in a place and thinking about the problems all around, and you get agitated. By sitting alone, keeping your mind quiet, you focus on the Brahman, the Atman, the Ishvara. And the 4 Vakyas we have seen, the purpose of that is to know about your own self. Tattvam Asi, to know about your own nature. You are that. You are that Brahman. So the purpose of going to a place, sitting in a corner, it is not necessary that you should go to a place where garden is there. In your own home, you can sit in a corner where you are not distracted or disturbed by any things happening at home. Then he was talking about Purna Atma Susham Mikshyatam. Having said that, you sit in a corner, asking us to fill our entire mind with the thoughts of the Brahman. And he says that Purnatma, he's the one, he's only one full. He alone is there. There is nothing else is there. When there is only one, there is nothing to worry about it. The whole conflicts, all types of conflicts come, all types of fear come, because when there is more than one. When there is more than one, you get threats, fear, because of that person or that one other than yourself. When you are the only one and you pervades everywhere, The Upanishad says that you are the one and you pervades everywhere. There is nothing other than yourself. So in our Shastra, in our concept of Vedas, there is only not one God, there is only God. God is everything. God alone is. That is the reason why there is no second factor. So there is no question of getting fear. There is no question of having insecurity. There is no need to feel threat about anybody other than yourself, because you are the only one self. That is the reason why. When you gain this knowledge, when you focus, you fill your mind with the thought that you are alone, and all other people whom you see, the reflection of that Atman, that Brahman, is there. Everything is the whole, full, complete, and the whole creation, what you see, is nothing but the Atman or the Ishvara. So focus on that. You don't need to worry about anything. There is only one, that Atma is there, and nobody else is there. When you feel that there is more than one, then the conflicts come. If we have this mind in a thought in our mind and sit in a corner in a comfortable place and meditate on that Brahman, then there is nothing else. That alone is very, very important. Then he says, Jagatitam, Jagatitam, Tat Paditam, Trishyataam. We need to understand this world, understand the relationship between the Brahma and Atma. These are the two words coined to understand, make us understand the relationship between what you and I think as an individual person and what we see all others other than ourselves as a different thing. If we can understand this relationship between you and I, or I and everything all around us, then the whole problems of multiplicity is resolved. So he is telling us what you are in search of, Brahman, what you are in search of, Atma, is everywhere, in everything. When you start seeing your reflection in others, yourself in others, there is only one, and that alone is the real. Because you and I are not related to the physical structure which we see, the physical personality which we see. The physical personality has its own name, form, and gotras and everything. When we realize that these are the names and forms exist because of the body which we have, but there is something which is beyond the body, the mind, and the intellect. All these things shine because of that one brilliant Atman, that one brilliant Ishvara, we all exist. That is why in Tamil it is said that when Shivam is removed, what remains is only Shavam. Shivan is that one glowing principle. Shiva is that one glowing principle. When he goes away, when that Atma, that Shiva goes away, the Jiva that goes away, what remains is only the Vibhuti, nothing else. So when we meditate on Brahman, fill up our mind with the thoughts of the Brahman, the Ishvara, we establish a relationship between I, the limited I, with all other things, what we see. And we understand the relationship between what, as an individual, we have with the others, which are all the part of the creation. Then our notional problems are resolved. Then in the 37th, he says that prakarma pravilabhyatam. Prakarma means we have got the accumulated karmas. what we undergo now, the concept of karma is very interesting to know. If we know this, then there is always a change in our attitude. We can see differences in the way in which we deliver our actions. There are three types of karma. What we undergo now is prarabdha karma. We having come, we don't know why we have come, what for we have come here, we are born, we have come, okay. Having come, let us accept the fact that we are here. What best we can do, and what is the best thing which we can do to change our existing situations. Prarabdha karma. This prarabdham is used in most houses we can see, especially our parents, grandparents used to say, this is my prarabdha. This prarabdha karma is a part of the whole karma called sanchita karma. Sanchita karma is like our bank deposits. When we have a huge deposit in the bank, as and when we need it, we take the money from the deposit which we have and take that money and spend it. So the sanchita karma is that karma which is accumulated over a period of time, period of various birth and deaths, cycles of births. We have done so much of actions, we don't know because these are all invisible. Based upon certain concepts, certain logic, we know that sanchita karma is there, bank deposits of pavas and punyas are there, drishtapala and adrishtapala are there. Whatever we have got the result out of which we have taken something, some interest, interest out of the deposit, we have taken it and born here, and the amount which we have got, the money which we have got is prarabdha karma, or the deposit which we have drawn from the sanchita karma is prarabdha karma that we have to spend it. But how do we, that spending is very, very important. The spending comes in various forms. Spending is nothing but the action which we do, the knowledge which we gain, the actions which we deliver. How do we deliver? This prarabdha karma is something which is amazing, that while acting, we act. Many times we say, the parents say that because of prarabdha karma, we are here. If we get any result, okay, we'll accept it. The prarabdha karma tells us to accept whatever we have got. But the dynamics of this prarabdha karma is that we can able to change the existing situations in whatever way you want, whether it is for the good or for the bad. It depends upon our intentions. It depends upon our various attitudes. That is the reason why in the prarabdha karma always it is said that act, do your karma. We have only duty. The karma comes and it is linked to the duty. Whatever you are asked to do, you do it. You don't question it. Because duty is the concept which you have to do it. You don't have any choice. But when you talk about rights, rights have a choice. You can do it and you don't need to do it also. You choose not to do it. It is not that you don't do it. You choose not to do it. But the duty is that which you need to do it. The whole problem, the complex issues come in our life, it is because of the concept of the freedom. Freedom is not that which is a license where you can fly anywhere as you like by birds. No. Freedom is just like a circle, limited circle. You have to understand that you have to move within that circumference of the circle. And you cannot fly away like birds and demand freedom. No, no way it is possible. All our actions are bound by duty. It is my duty to take care of my parents. It is my duty to take care of my family members. It is duty to take care of my community. It is my duty to take care of my country. To have a patriotic feeling, it is my duty. I don't have right to have a patriotism or not. No, there is no concept of right in patriotism. There is no concept of right in doing duty to your family members or to the country or to the parents. No, there is no concept of rights in all these things. Right is alien to our thinking. And it is not right thinking. Right is not a right thinking. Duty is alone is very, very important. Because when you do the duty, you act in such a way that your frame of mind accept the result, whatever is there. But when you have a right, you expect something and you choose to do and not to do. When you do with the attitude the right, there is a possibility that your interest is more important than others' interest. So he says that the prarabdha karma, the accumulated karma which you have from the sanchita karma, you have this prarabdha karma. In this prarabdha karma, you use that karma to exhaust that. And when you act in such a way that you don't get carried away by the fruits of the actions, that is the reason why Adi Shankaracharya initially states, act. You have no other choice but to act. Do karma, and surrender at the feet of the Lord, and don't expect any result from that. And why he has said that is because when you do with that, the fruits of actions or the result which you get out of your karmas or whatever you do, it gets carried away to the agami. It gets accumulated. Whatever you are doing it today, in this birth, the actions of yours, the results, when you do it with the mind of results, with your mind in results, it gets accumulated as agami karma. It is a cycle. Sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, and agami karma. Prarabdha karma, everybody has to, even the saints, they have the prarabdha karma. The difference which they have is when the prarabdha karma, they do it very efficiently, effectively. How do they do it? Because of the knowledge they have accumulated. The knowledge, the relationship they have established between the Atman and the Brahma, Paramatma and the Self. They have understood the relationship between the one, the small people like you and me, and the Paramatma, the Ishvara. When this relationship is understood, our actions become glorious, and this action doesn't produce any result, or it doesn't have the agami effect. When this agami is resolved and the prarabdha karma is done, our actions are properly done, all our karmas get dissolved. All these three, when you are acting in such a way that agami doesn't exist, doesn't have the effect when we do our prarabdha karma, and sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, agami karma get exhausted or get dissolved. This is possible only by those who know who they are. That's why Ramana Maharishi said that for everything he will say, you search who you are. You find out who you are. When this concept is understood, who am I? In the process, I go in the reverse. Here, Adi Shankaracharya started from steady Veda. Then he come to the place where you do your action. The prarabdha karma, you act in such a way that you don't have the net results, the agami. And when your actions, the prarabdha karma is done properly, all your three karmas get dissolved. How it is? Because when you know who you are and when you understand the relationship between yourself and the Atma, the Paramatma, then you know who you are. So Sadhana Panchakam starts with studying of Veda, and when you know who you are, the relationship between yourself and the Paramatma or the Brahman, then all your actions, all your prarabdha karmas, sanchita karma, and agami karma get dissolved. It will not have any impact. You become one with that divine. Here, Ramana Maharishi says, who am I? You start with who am I, you probe into that, who am I? Who was before? Where was I? From where I had come? These type of questions, the logical analysis take you, it gives you the direction, reach the stage where Shankara has taken you to the 39th step. So the karma should be done by understanding, by having the knowledge of own self. When you know about your own self, it doesn't mean that you should not act. In fact, you can act very freely. When you are not understood, when you don't have the knowledge of your own self, Swami Dayananda Saraswati used to say, you understand the role. When you know the role which you play, like a cinema actor, once the acting is over, the process of acting is over, when the film is done or the drama is over, the person who acted in that role, he removes himself from that role very easily. He never gets attached to the role which he plays, which is possible in the drama or in cinema. When you play your role effectively in movies, the hero of the movie gets away very easily with a huge bank balance. He is successful in his acting when you and I laugh on seeing him doing clowny acts, or when you and I cry when he does a role which makes your heart rocky hot, shaky, and you shed tears. He is successful. But he never gets carried away with that role. He is acting because he gets money. Not only that, once his acting is over, he goes home minus his role which he has played. In the same way here, even though it is very difficult, there all that you need is you have to mug up dialogues, you have to stand in front of a camera, and you have to act in such a way that what the director says. Here in life, even though it is very easy to say, you have to do your actions in such a way that you are playing a role. The individual, you and I have various roles to play. The role of a father, husband, mother, wife, daughter, son, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, so many roles one plays. But you cannot mix up the role of one with the other. When you mix up the role, then there's a confusion, there is a contradiction, there is always conflicts. When this concept of relationship of the Atma and Paramatma, you as an individual with the creator or whatever we call it, normally we don't say creator, the Atman. Atma Jnanam when we have, then our actions glow and all our karmas get dissolved. Prarabdham tviha pujya tamadaha. The karma that caused this birth here may be experienced. Whatever the reason for our birth, we call it as a prarabdha karma. That is the reason because of which we are here. Let us play a role effectively and complete that role without getting disturbed. And that is possible only when we know the relationship. This relationship can be understood only out of knowledge. How do we gain knowledge? You go to the first step, Vedo Nityam Adhyata. Then he come. It is a cycle, To understand the concept of prarabdha karma and play an effective role without adding agami and dissolving all the three karmas, you should know the relationship between yourself and the Creator. Parabrahmatmana sthiyadham, asthiyadham. May you abide as Brahman. Let us all remain in that Atmak knowledge, because it is very, very important. Having understood our relationship, we must abide in that knowledge. Because as a human being, even though we have got that knowledge, as a human being, we should always remind ourselves that I am not this ordinary role I have come here to play. I am that Brahman, I am that Atma, who is no way different from what the Veda Vakyas, Upanishad says, Tattvamasi, I am Atma, Aham Brahmasmi. These are the Upanishad Vakyas, 4 Upanishad Vakyas, which talks about that, which tells you and me to abide in that knowledge. Knowledge is not a mere information. It is a type of an experience, or it is a type of understanding the concept, or understanding the relationship between you and the forms which you see all around. If this is understood, we have to remain in that. As a human being, as we are, sometimes we get carried away by our knowledge. We don't abide in that knowledge, like it has happened to Adi Shankara in Sadhana Panchakam. It is an example to show that there is a possibility even for a great Atma, Mahatmas, great Acharyas, for a fraction of a second to come out of not remaining, abiding in that knowledge, Tattvamasi. When he saw a person with 4 dogs in his hands, he asked him to move away. When the person who was with 4 dogs asked Shankara, what you want me to move? You are asking about the body, or you are asking about the Atman, which is ever shining, which pervades everywhere. If you are talking about the body, then it is perishable. And if you are talking about the Atma, that is imperishable. Then Shankara realized perhaps that may be the reason why he says that Parabrahma Atmana Sthiyatham. Perhaps he is sharing his experience. He is very magnanimous to share his experience. And you and I are all nothing. We are all small peanut in this creation. When Shankara says that, may you abide as a Brahman, Parabrahmatmana Sthiyatham. What an amount of experience Shankara had. Even for him, he says that you should remain in that Atman, Brahman. When he gives you a direction, guidance to remain there, then our task is very Himalayan task. This 40 steps looks like climbing up 40 steps up, but it is not that much easy. Even after having crossed and reached the 40th step, after crossing 39 steps, removing all our karmas, prarabdha, sanchita, agami karmas, having remained in that Atman is very challenging one. We need to remain in that. How it is possible? Because Vedo Nityam Adhyata. We have to keep studying Veda all the time. Studying is not 1 time, 1 hour, 2 hour job daily. We have to study every day Veda. At the same time, we should focus on that Atman, the relationship that we have to understand in the process, we get out of the cycle of birth. As Adi Shankara says, let us remain in that Parabrahmatmana and seek his blessings and our Acharya's blessings to remain and understand the relationship between us and the Brahman, and seek his blessings and seek his guidance in all our day-to-day life. Namaskaram.